All right, so here I am again. I wanted to do another video and talk about another topic that a lot of people may not necessarily agree. A lot of people may not necessarily see eye to eye with me on this, but one thing I understand is this, and let me turn my TV down so that's not distracting the video. I was raised to believe and think this certain kind of a way, and that's this: the man is the head of the house, and the woman is the neck. Okay. And Fantasia and her husband pretty much mirror those values and those beliefs that I was taught and raised to believe in. And the Bible also says this as well, that the man is the head of the household. And in today's time, the world that we are living in today does not agree that the man is the head of the house. A lot of people tend to think or believe that the woman is in charge because the woman is the one that makes a lot of the decisions and is the naysayer or says yay or nay or whatever, right? The woman is the one who tells the husband what she wants and what should be and what she would want and how things is supposed to be, right? And the husband just goes along and just does whatever the wife wants to make the wife happy, right? That way of thinking and that way of operating is totally blindsiding people into thinking that that's the way things should be. That's the world's way of doing things, but it's not God's way of doing things. That's where the mishap and the confusion and misunderstanding is at. When God made man, God made Adam first, and then he made Eve as Adam's helpmate. Eve was made from Adam's rib. Just remember that, right? Okay. I'm not trying to take you guys to church, but I'm just trying to support my claim here is that the way that God designed for life and human life to be is that the man is the head. The man is the king. The man is first. And I'm sure we have all in our lifetime heard, oh, ladies first, right? Nothing wrong with that. That's a courtesy thing. That's a respect thing. It's a nice gesture and hospitality type of thing. Nothing wrong with that. I don't disagree that ladies should go to the bathroom first. Ladies should sit down first. Ladies, I'm not against that. I'm all for it. But the man, if you are married or if you are in a household with a mother and a father, the man is supposed to be the decision maker. The man is the one who is supposed to provide. The man is the one who is supposed to be the safety net. The woman is the nurturer, the lover, the one that provides pretty much the level playing field in the household. But the woman is not the king. The woman is the queen. And so in today's time, in our society, we have all been brainwashed and tricked into thinking that women are the head of the household and that women are supposed to be operating like they are kings. But that's the wrong way of thinking. That's the wrong way of doing things. It's totally backwards. Us women, we are not kings. We can't be the king. We're not men. We're women. We're the queens, right? A lot of this comes from generational curses, especially within the descendants of slaves, okay? For so many years and for many generations, the women have been the one to take on a lot of the responsibility as far as finances, as far as being the foundation and backbone of the family, as far as taking care of the children, as far as fixing things when there's problems, just everything. The women have done it all. A lot of women were the single moms in the household. You understand there was no man around to help provide, no man around to help make decisions, nothing. So we have been conditioned into thinking that we're supposed to operate like we're kings, or we're supposed to operate like we are the front runners. We are like, like we are the men. Like we're supposed to be thinking in a way that a man is supposed to operate, right? That's how we've been forced to live our lives in a lot of generations. It was happening during the era and time I grew up. My father didn't raise me. Okay. In the beginning, it was my grandmother. My grandmother did it all, and my mother was young. My mother was a teen mom, and she was young. She ran the street and partied and did her thing. My grandmother took care of me the first 2.5, 3 years of my life. And then my mother finally came around and started becoming responsible for me and started finally being a mother to me. But my father wasn't in the picture. My father came around here and there to visit, but that was all. My father wasn't really in the picture like that. So my mother and my grandmother had to do the manly things, okay? They had to make manly decisions and think like kings, okay? Because there was no man around to help do anything. My mother's father was killed many years ago before I was even born. So my grandfather wasn't around to help my grandmother take care of things. My father wasn't around to help my mother take care of things because my father decided he didn't want to marry my mother. I don't know what happened with my grandmother too much when she was growing up, but I heard that my grandmother's father, he was abusive. And so when my grandmother finally got her chance, she ran away from Louisiana and ran away to New York City. So there was never really no strong father figure in my family bloodline. There was always either an absentee father, or if the father was around, he was abusive. Okay, so there was never really no stability provided to the family when it came to the father or the man or the one who was supposed to be the head of the household. Okay, and this is with a lot of black families. This is not just my family. It's a lot of black families that suffered this generational problem, this generational curse. Okay, so let me get back to the main point here. I said all that to make my point is that we have been conditioned and trained into thinking that we are supposed to be men in this mental mindset where we're supposed to do what the man does, and we're not. That's not the way that God intended for it to be. So Fantasia and her husband, they really hit it home. They really hit it home on the things that I believe in, the values that I value, and the way that I was brought up and raised when I was put in foster care. That's another story for another day. But when I grew up in my foster family, one of the things that I was taught and reconditioned into thinking is that the man is the head of the household. Because my foster parents, there was my foster mother and there was my foster father in the picture. They were married and they had 4 children, and then they actually had 5 children. I'm sorry, and then they fostered my mother's 4 children. So they took care of a total of 9 kids. Their 5 children plus my mother's 4. Bless their hearts. Okay, so the way that they raised us in their household growing up, it was the man and the woman, the mom and the dad, the husband and the wife. And we were always taught that the man is supposed to provide. The man is the head of the household. The man is the decision maker, okay? And the mother is the one who is the nurturer, the one who provides the level playing field in the household, and the mother is the lover. The mother takes care of everything that goes on in the home, and the mother provides all of the things that the father is not able to provide when it comes to just affection and just being there emotionally and just taking care of things if you're going through something. The dad is the one that works and brings home the butter, the bread, the bacon, whatever you want to call it, okay? The father is the one that makes the major decisions. The father is the one that leads the unit, the pack, the group, okay? The man leads, the woman follows. Now, a lot of people may say, okay, I don't agree with that because the woman is not supposed to be the man's slave or the man's you know, anything that is a variant of the word slave or the variant of the word pushover or anything like that. No, that's not what it means. See, a lot of people are misunderstanding the whole terminology, the whole understanding, the whole definition, the whole meaning behind it all. Because the woman is not the head of the household and is not the king does not mean that she has to be a slave to the man or to the husband or the father. It doesn't mean that at all. It actually means that the man and the woman works in unison. They actually work hand in hand. Without the woman, the man really can't function, and without the man, the woman really can't function. It's all about learning from each other, to be truthfully honest. When you see your man doing something, you sit back and you watch and you observe and you take pointers. You take out of it what you can see, and then the rest can just go out the window, right? You take what you learn from what you're seeing in certain scenarios with your husband, and you use that to your advantage to apply it to help your husband or your significant other make decisions. Same with the man. The man has to humble himself and not take his authority and abuse it and try to overlook what the woman may have to say, or try to overstep his boundary or be overbearing or be too dominant. The man's not supposed to do that. Just because the man is in position of power does not mean that man has the right to abuse his power and just do and say whatever he wants just because he's the head of the household. It doesn't work that way. God did not design it for it to be that way. The man actually must humble himself and actually listen to what his wife has to say, because believe it or not, without the wife's help, the man cannot be successful. Do y'all not understand that? The man cannot be successful without his right hand. God made us to help the man. God made Eve to help Adam. Without us, there is no help. The man can't have the help he needs without the woman. So the man must humble himself and listen to his wife and confide in his wife. Because if he doesn't, he will stumble and he will fall. Now for the woman, if the woman don't humble herself and try to actually take her husband's authority and follow it, she could stumble and fall also, because she could make a mistake. She could easily make a mistake and make herself look bad. Right? All I'm saying is this. There's an order to everything. There's an order to things. The woman does not have to be the man's slave. That's not what this means. And the man does not get to abuse his power and be dominant and overbearing and take control over everything. No, it does not mean that either. The man and the woman, they go hand in hand. The way that this train is going to move, it cannot move without the other, okay? The man cannot move the train without his woman, and the woman cannot move the train without her man, okay? It just... The woman is like the engine, and the man is the actual wheels and the whole rest of the body of the train. The woman's the engine. So without the engine, you can't start the train, you can't start the car, you can't start the vehicle without the motor, without the engine, right? Same thing with the engine. If the engine has no place to sit in, no vehicle to sit into, there is no use for the engine. The engine it can't be used, right? So that's pretty much what it is. I'm gonna show you a clip of what Fantasia and her husband had to say that makes some very valuable points. Sorry, I had a phone call there that interrupted, but take a very good look at what Fantasia and her husband has to say. Take a look.
Okay. So, we talk a lot. I just got home. He just got home. We were in New York for Fashion Week, and then he had to fly out to go speak at the prisons, and I had to continue to keep working. So I went up to the Breakfast Club, and I enjoyed it. And
proud of you too.
Thanks, babe. We were just wrapping it up and talking, and I was speaking. Yeah. So when I got back home, he had kind of said something that piggybacked off what I was saying, and I thought it was so dope coming from the male perspective that I felt like the male and the female should hear. So
here's the issue. Submission is supposed to be a beautiful song and dance between two lovers. What's happened is men have abused that power forgive me, they've abused that gift. And we have been misled to think that it's something where it's a dominant spirit and we own every decision, we dictate everything, we rule with an iron fist. First of all, that's not love. What happens is, in my marriage, let me not speak for everybody, my marriage, I submit daily to the Most High. I stay in my scriptures. I continue to feed myself with things that help me build my character, to reshape my perspective that was messed up in the streets and dealing with different propaganda and programming and things like that, so that I can come to my wife from a pure position. So when I do that and she sees me and she witnesses over time that it's an authentic demonstration, her heart is moved and softened and compelled to submit to me. Yeah. What does that look like? That doesn't mean that I dictate every decision. I don't walk around the house saying what we're going to spend, how we're going to do it. We talk and we build. And I consider everything that's on her heart, her perspective, her position, her philosophy. I'll carefully weave that into my philosophy to figure out what's the best move for this family, keeping all of that in mind. Now, the moment I start to step outside of righteousness and I start to move from a place of emotion instead of analytics, she has every right to snatch that back, because submission is a gift. When she sees me laying at the foot of the Father, she has no reason to withhold that from me. The problem is this: men are not found in positions of leadership handling it with integrity. How you gonna lead your wife if you can't balance a checkbook? If you don't know what's going on in the stock market? You don't have a sound understanding of the finances. You can't create a budget. You don't understand what's going on in the educational system in your community that's impacting your kids. In order to lead, you got to be so far ahead of your family that by the time they come to you with a situation or a problem, you've already dived into it, done your due diligence so that you can give leadership. You don't lead from your genitals. You lead from a gentle place of understanding. And the more she trusts, the more she can let go of things that she don't have to deal with and focus on the things that edify her. It ain't about money. We both hustlers. It's not about a dollar for dollar thing, because we're one unit. Yeah. If I fall, she falls. If she falls, I fall. Submission is solely about trust.
I think when women hear the word submission, we're like, what? Submitting. With my husband, like he said, to piggyback off what he just said, it was what he demonstrated. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't come in and say, all right, like he said, the budget is this for that, this is and the third. I watched how he did things. I watched how he budgeted. I watched him. And then I slowly became him. And I submitted in that. Yeah, now I think I'm more frugal than him. And that's not even being like, gotta be frugal because we don't have it. It's just being smart. And the word, if you dig deep in the word with your partner, you'll start to see a lot of things that we're talking about. But yeah, I like that he broke that down, because I'm a very strong woman. I like what I like. I'm very strong. But when it comes to allowing him to cover and lead this home, I sit back and allow him to do that, and it makes me better. Wow, that like.
Lead by example.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want your wife to be humble, walk in humility. If you want your wife to forgive you, be quick to forgive. If you want your wife to consider, following you down a specific path, prove to her that you got the blueprint and that she's not following you to some unknown destination. My wife don't have to follow anything that she don't see me demonstrating. Yeah. So master the thing before you go out and try to teach it. It's like sometimes you see cats, as soon as they get a book and they read something, they start running, trying to teach people on it, but you haven't applied it and gone through the proving grounds of being able to master that information yourself. So leadership is a forward-thinking thing. And when you do that, women's natural instinct is going to be to trust, to be able to submit their hearts. But again, this ain't a dominant thing. Nah. And I want my wife cold as me, because if something ever happens to me, she don't like having that conversation. Say that. If something ever happens to me, she need to know how to get that bag. She need to understand where the money's at. She need to know how to ask the right questions. I ain't telling you to ask nobody nothing. You tell them what belongs to you. She can't do that if I'm controlling everything. So my wife needs to be a direct female reflection of the man that I am. Facts.
Come on now.
You come on.
I always said the wise woman once told me, the older women used to tell me, stop, boy.
What up?
The woman is the neck and the man is the head. And without the neck, the head can't move.
Two heads is just a head, but see how that works.
So, yeah. And I'm going to end it with this. We ain't perfect, and we ain't trying to be perfect. We still growing. And we just want to share that with all those out there that's still growing and want.
And get clarity. Don't be trying to twist my wife's words up at the end of the day, because I'm proud of her for standing.
They try to do that?
Man, whatever to them. At the end of the day, we want to make sure there's clarity to what she said and the understanding and be able to hear the force behind what she is saying. So it don't get tangled and twisted. It ain't for everybody. Do your thing. But for women out there who truly desire that and men who want to step up to the call, we just want to take time out, make sure we bring clarity to our demonstration and hope that it's fruit for you and your lives. And watch how God bless. Straight like that.
Mine.
Salute.
And so there you have it. The right way to go about this is the man is the head of the household, the woman follows. The man is the head, the woman is the neck, okay? Without the neck, the man don't have no head. He can't turn his head without his neck, okay? And without a neck without a head, a woman is just a neck without no head, okay? She's just there existing, and she there's no use for her. Same thing with the engine. So you guys think and reflect on what I said. Think and reflect on what Fantasia and her husband said. And just know and understand that this is the way that God intended for things to be, and this is the right way to be. And the things of the world will have you turned and twisted and backwards and confused and combobulated and all these things. And then we always wonder why people are getting divorced and people are unhappy and things are not going the right way, because the ways of the world don't teach you the proper way. And then you have all these problems and issues, and then you can't understand why the problems and issues exist and why they are there. The problems and issues exist because we are not functioning the way God intended for us to function. And then we get confused and we get sidetracked and all these other things be going on, and then we wonder why we have problems. Okay? So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit the notification bell if you want future notifications on when I have new content coming out. And don't forget to share with your family and friends this video. I think it's a very, very important thing to discuss and talk about within our families at the dinner table. And just be true to yourself. Know that the truth will set you free, and that if you are true to yourself, everything else will fall into place. Okay? Until next time, I see you again. Peace, and don't forget to subscribe.